The dawn at the Grand Canyon is a spectacle of hushed grandeur, a slow bleed of crimson and gold across ancient rock formations. It's a canvas of immensity that can easily swallow the individual, making them feel like a mere speck. It was into this vast, silent theater that an anomaly intruded, a sharp, incongruous note in the symphony of nature. There, amidst the orderly rows of vehicles meant to house weekend adventurers and awestruck tourists, sat a 2025 silver Toyota RAV4. But this was no ordinary parked vehicle. Its driver's door hung open, a silent accusation against the encroaching light. The air around it felt heavy, not with the desert heat that would soon descend, but with an palpable sense of unease. My footsteps on the asphalt, usually lost in the general murmur of a busy place, now echoed with an unnerving clarity, the only sound apart from the gentle, insistent whisper of the wind weaving through the sparse scrub. This was a place of beginnings, of journeys embarking, yet here was an ending, abrupt and unexplained. The vehicle itself seemed to hold its breath, a metallic shell holding secrets the desert was reluctant to share. The stark beauty of the sunrise, usually a source of comfort and inspiration, here only amplified the isolation of this singular, abandoned machine. It was a beacon of mystery in a landscape defined by its profound, ancient solitude, drawing the eye and the imagination with an irresistible, unsettling pull. The scene felt staged, yet brutally real, a snapshot of a moment frozen in time, pregnant with unspoken questions. The sheer emptiness of the parking lot, save for this one misplaced object, only deepened the enigma, transforming a mundane sight into something profoundly disquieting. As I drew closer, the details sharpened, each observation adding another layer to the growing dread. The interior of the RAV4, visible through the open door, offered further clues, though none that provided immediate solace. A blue backpack lay on the passenger seat, its contents appearing to have been hastily rummaged through, as if someone had been searching for something vital in a panic, or perhaps, frantically trying to gather what they needed before an urgent departure. It spoke of haste, of a decision made in desperation, or perhaps, under duress. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. Who leaves their vehicle like this? Who abandons their belongings in such a chaotic manner? The keys, glinting slightly in the morning sun, were discarded carelessly on the console, a clear indication that whoever had been here had no intention of returning in the immediate future, or had been prevented from doing so. The glove compartment, when I cautiously opened it, revealed a crumpled map, its creases deep and worn, marked with pen strokes that seemed to lead nowhere particularly useful, especially in an age where GPS reigns supreme. This wasn't a simple case of a tourist getting lost, this was something more complex, a deliberate act of disarray that hinted at a mind in turmoil, or an external force at play. A fine layer of dust, settling evenly across the dashboard, suggested the vehicle had been stationary for some time, adding to the mystery of its sudden abandonment. The contrast between the modern, sleek vehicle and the ancient, unforgiving landscape outside was stark, a fragile piece of civilization left vulnerable and exposed to the immensity of the natural world, a world that held its own silent, powerful narratives. Then, nestled amongst the scattered items on the passenger floor, I spotted it, a GoPro camera. Its presence felt like a morbid punctuation mark to the scene. Curiosity overriding caution, I picked it up. The device felt cold in my hand, and the small screen displayed a single, stark piece of information: the recording had ended abruptly, after just 42 seconds. 42 seconds. What could have happened in such a short span of time to cause someone to stop recording and vanish? The thought sent a fresh wave of unease through me. This wasn't just a missing person case, it was a recorded moment of a life interrupted, a sliver of existence frozen in digital amber, a prelude to an unknown event. The implications were chilling. It suggested a sudden, unexpected turn of events, something so profound or alarming that the act of filming was abandoned midstream. Was the recording cut short by an accident? Was it intentionally stopped? Or was the recorder taken from its owner, the brief glimpse of footage a final, unintended testament to their struggle? The silence of the canyon seemed to press in, as if the very air was holding its breath, waiting for an answer that was locked away within those missing minutes of film. The potential for what lay within that short recording, and what happened immediately after, was a black hole of speculation, pulling at the edges of rational thought. The abandoned vehicle and its contents were already a puzzle, but the GoPro, with its truncated narrative, transformed the mystery into a palpable, immediate dread, hinting at a story that unfolded with terrifying speed and an unknown, sinister conclusion. The tracker, a small electronic device meant to pinpoint the vehicle's location, was inexplicably dead. No signal, no power, a blank slate where a vital piece of information should have been. This wasn't a dead battery. It felt like a deliberate silencing, another layer in the deliberate obfuscation of a disappearance. No system alerts had been triggered, no automated notifications sent out to indicate any malfunction or unauthorized movement. It was as if the vehicle, and its occupant, had simply ceased to exist in the digital realm, erased from the networked world that so meticulously tracks our every move. This lack of digital footprint amplified the sense of an inexplicable disappearance, moving beyond the realm of simple misadventure into something far more unsettling. The car, a symbol of connection and mobility, had become an island of silence, cut off from the very systems designed to keep it safe and accounted for. This technological void made the physical clues within the vehicle, the rummaged backpack, the discarded keys, all the more significant, as they were the only tangible remnants of a life that had seemingly vanished into thin air. The dead tracker wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a signpost pointing towards a carefully orchestrated event, a deliberate severing of ties with the modern world. The silence of the tracker echoed the silence of the canyon, a profound absence that spoke volumes about the mystery at hand. The desert was proving to be a place where modern technology faltered, where the ancient earth held sway, and where human ingenuity was met with an indifferent, impenetrable vastness. My path led me to a park ranger, a man whose weathered face and watchful eyes spoke of years spent navigating these vast, often treacherous landscapes. He was initially gruff, accustomed to the mundane concerns of tourists. But when I described the abandoned RAV4, a flicker of recognition crossed his features, a subtle shift in his demeanor that hinted at something more than routine concern. He spoke of other disappearances, not frequent, but enough to become a hushed, unsettling legend among those who worked in the park. He used vague language, a reluctance to speculate too wildly, but the words swallowed up hung in the air, a chilling idiom that perfectly captured the feeling of the desert claiming its victims without a trace. He described a recurring pattern, vehicles found abandoned, sometimes in remote areas, sometimes even in plain sight, but always with a sense of abrupt departure. There were no signs of struggle, no obvious foul play, just an unnerving emptiness, as if the occupants had simply stepped out and dissolved into the landscape. His unease was palpable, a professional trying to maintain composure in the face of the inexplicable. He admitted that while accidents happened, and people sometimes succumbed to the elements or made tragic errors in judgment, there was a different quality to these specific vanishings. A sense that it wasn't just about succumbing to the environment, but about a deliberate, unseen flight, a conscious decision to disappear from the grid, leaving behind only questions and a profound sense of unease. Later, I sought out a seasoned trail guide, a woman whose connection to the canyon ran deeper than mere employment. She moved with the quiet confidence of someone who understood the desert's moods and its many secrets. When I recounted the details of the RAV4, her eyes held a knowing depth. She confirmed the ranger's unease, sharing her own observations and the whispers that circulated among the local community. "The desert has a way of keeping its own," she said, her voice low and resonant, like the echo of wind through a canyon. She spoke of the vastness, the disorienting beauty, and how it could play tricks on the mind, leading even experienced hikers astray. But she also alluded to something more, a subtle acknowledgement that some vanishings defied simple explanation. She'd heard stories, rumors of people intentionally seeking solitude, of those who wished to simply cease to be, leaving their earthly possessions behind as a final, symbolic act. Yet, her tone suggested this was not the full story. There was an undercurrent of something else, something less understood, a primal force within the canyon that could, as she put it, swallow people whole. She didn't offer concrete answers, but her words painted a picture of a place that could both nurture and consume, a place where the lines between accident, choice, and something far more ancient and mysterious blurred into an unsettling reality. The desert, she implied, was not merely an indifferent landscape, but an active participant in the lives, and the disappearances, of those who ventured into its embrace. The narrative coalescing around the abandoned RAV4 was no longer a simple missing person case, it was morphing into something far more complex and disquieting. The clues, the open door, the rummaged backpack, the discarded keys, the crumpled map, the dead tracker, the short GoPro recording, began to weave a tapestry of desperation and deliberate action. Each piece of the puzzle, when considered in isolation, offered a potential explanation, but together, they painted a picture of profound ambiguity. Was this a cry for help, a panicked escape from an unseen threat? Or was it a meticulously planned disappearance, a conscious effort to shed one identity and vanish without a trace? The whispers of the desert swallowing people took on a new weight, suggesting a force beyond human comprehension at play. The seasoned trail guide's words, hinting at a deliberate flight, resonated with the ranger's unease. It wasn't just the environment that was a factor, it was the possibility of a choice, a decision made by the individual to leave everything behind. Yet, the abruptness of the GoPro recording, the sheer lack of any subsequent trace, hinted at a terrifying speed to whatever unfolded. The desert could be a place of profound isolation, but it was also a place of immense, unforgiving beauty, a beauty that could, for some, become a final, all-encompassing embrace. The questions multiplied, each one more unsettling than the last, probing the dark corners of human motivation and the terrifying power of the wild. You know, there's a certain breed of person that finds themselves drawn to the places others actively avoid. I'm one of them. It's not about being morbid or seeking out trouble, not really. It's more like an innate curiosity, a feeling that the most compelling narratives aren't found on polished surfaces, but in the chipped paint and the overgrown weeds. The dust-choked remnants of forgotten journeys, the eerie silence of a location where laughter once echoed, those are the places that whisper secrets, and I'm all ears. I've stumbled upon enough discarded husks of ambition and lost hopes to know that the most profound stories often lie just beyond the edge of what's comfortable. And trust me, I've seen my fair share of the truly bizarre. It's not always a grand, dramatic disappearance. Sometimes it's the quiet, unsettling absence that screams the loudest. Think of those hulking shapes left to rust in the middle of nowhere, their stories locked behind a decaying shell. Or those forgotten outposts, swallowed by the landscape, where the only remaining signs of life are the ghosts of footsteps and the lingering scent of abandonment. These aren't just inanimate objects or empty spaces, they're chapters in unfinished tales, and I've developed a knack for finding them. My approach is simple, really. It's like we're sitting around a worn wooden table, a couple of cold drinks sweating in front of us, piecing together a puzzle that no one else bothered to start. I don't sugarcoat things. The world isn't always a cheerful place, and sometimes the truth is a bit rough around the edges. But it's the truth, and I believe it deserves to be heard, unfiltered. The sheer, unvarnished reality of what happens when things go sideways, when lives veer off the map, that's what I'm after. This particular journey we're about to embark on is one that will certainly make your skin crawl. We'll be delving into the kind of scenarios that make you question the very fabric of what we perceive as stable and predictable. It's about those moments where the familiar suddenly twists into the terrifying, where the ordinary gives way to the utterly inexplicable. So, buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride through the uncharted territories of the strange and the unsettling. We're talking about the kind of mystery that doesn't offer easy answers. It's the gnawing uncertainty that festers when all the evidence points to a sudden, jarring halt. The vast emptiness of the desert can be a beautiful, serene expanse, a canvas of breathtaking isolation. But that same isolation can also be a formidable force, capable of swallowing secrets whole, becoming a final, all-consuming embrace for those who venture too far. The questions just keep piling up, each one more disquieting than the last. The worn leather of the driver's seat creaked under my touch, a mournful sound that echoed the vast silence outside. Dust motes danced in the slivers of sunlight piercing the grimy windows, illuminating a tableau of stillness. It wasn't just stillness, though, it was a profound absence, a void where life had abruptly ceased. The air inside was thick, a potent brew of stale fabric, forgotten oil, and something else, something that hinted at a story left unfinished. My fingers traced the outline of a cracked dashboard, the plastic brittle with age and neglect. This was more than just an abandoned shell, it was a vessel that had once carried dreams, destinations, and perhaps, a desperate flight. I leaned closer, inhaling deeply, trying to decipher the language of abandonment. The scent wasn't just decay, it was the lingering imprint of human presence, a phantom limb of memory. A faint imprint on the passenger seat, just enough to suggest someone had sat there, perhaps for a very long time. Were they waiting? Hiding? Or had they simply stepped out for a moment that stretched into eternity? The unanswered questions were like the relentless sun, beating down, pressing for a response that remained just beyond reach. Every detail, from the faded stain on the floor mat to the single, tarnished coin lodged in the ashtray, whispered fragments of a narrative I was compelled to piece together. My gaze drifted to the rearview mirror, its surface clouded with years of neglect. Reflected there, distorted and spectral, was my own face. A face etched with curiosity, perhaps a touch of apprehension, but never fear. Fear is a luxury I rarely afford myself in these desolate spaces. Instead, I find a strange kinship with the forgotten, with the remnants of lives that have been cast aside. This machine, in its silent surrender, held more truth than most bustling cities. It was a testament to moments, to choices, to the unpredictable currents that sweep us from our intended paths and leave us stranded under an indifferent sky. The steering wheel felt rough under my palm, its texture a map of countless journeys. I imagined the hands that had gripped it, the anxieties or joys they might have held. Was this a final destination, or merely a waypoint in a larger, more complex journey? The wind outside continued its low thrum, a constant reminder of the world's indifference to the silent drama unfolding within these four rusted walls. The silence wasn't empty, it was pregnant with unspoken words, with the echoes of a life that had once pulsed within this metallic husk. And I, the unwilling archivist, was here to listen. The world teems with oddities, with forgotten corners and half-told tales. My purpose is to reveal how these places seep into our very beings, how they stir our imaginations. Remember that prickle of déjà vu? That feeling of having stood on this very ground before, of having lived this exact moment? That's what I aim to evoke in you. The communion with the inexplicable, with that which transcends our grasp. I will transport you into the heart of the scene, so you can feel the sun's warmth on your skin, inhale the scent of dry earth, and shiver with a primal fear. These aren't just dusty relics, they are conduits. They are the physical manifestations of memories, both collective and intensely personal, waiting to be unearthed. Think of it as a subtle resonance, a hum that vibrates at a frequency just beyond our everyday awareness. When you encounter a structure that has witnessed generations pass, that has endured storms and stillness alike, you are touching a continuum. The chipped paint, the faded emblems, the very wear and tear, each mark is a whisper from the past, a clue to a narrative that is still unfolding, even now, as you stand there. This is where the true adventure lies, not in the roaring engines or the polished chrome, but in the quiet understanding that these objects carry more than just metal and mechanics. They are vessels of time, imbued with the essence of those who interacted with them. Imagine the journeys undertaken, the destinations reached, the simple act of getting from point A to point B that was so vital to someone's existence. It's the human element, often overlooked, that gives these abandoned spaces their profound significance. And this connection, this sense of shared experience across time, can be incredibly powerful. It's a reminder that we are not isolated entities, but part of a grand, interconnected tapestry. When you feel that inexplicable pull towards a derelict shell, it's not just curiosity, it's your spirit recognizing a kindred echo, a shared story waiting to be acknowledged. It's the allure of the unknown, yes, but more importantly, it's the profound satisfaction of uncovering a hidden layer of reality. The rust isn't just decay, it's a testament to resilience. The silence isn't emptiness, it's a canvas upon which countless moments have been painted. And I am here to help you see, to feel, and to understand the indelible mark these forgotten places leave upon our souls, guiding you through the subtle currents of memory and meaning that flow through the very fabric of existence. The automobile, a hulking silhouette against the fading light, tells a story of hurried departure. Its doors hang slightly ajar, as if the occupant expected to return momentarily, a routine interrupted by something unforeseen. The dust layered on its once gleaming chassis is thick enough to mute its original color, a uniform gray that speaks of prolonged stillness. Yet, beneath that shroud, faint scratches mar the paintwork, not from careless parking, but from something more urgent, more desperate. Were these made in haste, a frantic attempt to escape? Or perhaps, a struggle? The windows, opaque with grime, offer no glimpse into its interior, preserving its secrets like a sealed vault. Beside it lies the backpack, its canvas worn smooth by countless journeys. A few straps are frayed, hinting at a weight borne for an extended period. It's not neatly placed, but rather dropped, almost carelessly, as if its contents were no longer a concern. A small, faded patch is sewn onto its flap, an emblem of a place or perhaps a group, now obscured by time and exposure. What treasures, or burdens, did this bag once hold? What dreams were packed within its compartments, and what hopes were left behind? Its position on the ground, slightly askew, suggests a sudden abandonment, a moment of crisis where even the familiar weight of one's belongings became secondary. And then, the keys. Scattered near the backpack, glinting dully in the twilight. Not a single, orderly bunch, but separate. One, a standard house key, lies on its side. Another, a larger, more intricate one, possibly for a vehicle or a secure storage, has skittered a few feet further, as if tossed with force. The metallic clatter they would have made upon impact echoes in the silence, a stark punctuation mark to whatever transpired here. These are the tools of access, the means of entry and exit. Their disarray is a powerful indicator of disruption, of a narrative violently interrupted. They speak of an intention to leave, or perhaps, to secure something before vanishing. The story etched into this scene is not one of peaceful surrender, but of a sudden, jarring event. The pieces are here, waiting to be assembled. What happens to those who vanish? Where do they go? What do they leave behind? These are the questions that fuel me. I will show you the impact of disappearance on the lives of individuals, on families, on friends. The pain, the anguish, the uncertainty. And, most importantly, the hope. The hope that one day, the truth will surface. I will tell you stories of people who never gave up, of those who fought until the very end to find their loved ones. And these stories will touch you to the core of your soul. The disarray wasn't just a detail, it was a scream. The hurried packing of a favored blanket, a worn book tucked into a half-open satchel, the keys still dangling from a hook by the door. These weren't the signs of a planned departure, but of a life abruptly put on hold. Each misplaced item whispered of a moment frozen in time, a narrative snatched away mid-sentence. The quiet of the room was a deafening echo of that absence, a space where laughter and everyday routines once thrived, now holding only the ghosts of what was. The families left behind are thrust into a unique kind of limbo. They are not mourners, for there is no body to bury, no final goodbye to cling to. Instead, they are perpetual seekers, their lives dictated by the absence of answers. Every phone call, every unexpected knock at the door, carries a flicker of desperate hope, quickly extinguished when it proves to be just another day without news. They learn to live with a constant hum of anxiety, a second sense attuned to the faintest whisper of information. And then there are the friends, the colleagues, the neighbors, who witness the void left behind. They see the empty chair at the table, the unread emails, the projects left unfinished. They remember shared jokes, whispered confidences, the mundane beauty of a life lived in parallel. Their grief is often compounded by a sense of helplessness, a desire to do more, to unearth what has been lost, but feeling powerless against the sheer magnitude of the mystery. Yet, within this profound sorrow, a remarkable resilience takes root. It is the resilience of those who refuse to accept the silence, who transform their pain into a driving force. They become detectives of the heart, piecing together fragments of memory, scrutinizing every last detail, clinging to the belief that somewhere, somehow, a thread of connection remains. This unwavering pursuit, fueled by love and an unyielding hope for reunion, is the most powerful testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. These experiences, woven into the fabric of my existence, have etched profound lessons onto my understanding of humanity. They illuminate the delicate balance between good and evil, not as starkly defined forces, but as nuanced inclinations within each soul, often shaped by circumstance and the choices we make when pushed to our limits. We see the innate human capacity for both immense cruelty and astonishing kindness, often existing side by side. It's a reminder that judging too quickly is a disservice to the complex tapestry of individual journeys. The fragility of life, a constant undercurrent in these narratives, is perhaps the most potent teacher. The suddenness with which existence can be irrevocably altered, the abrupt goodbyes that echo through lifetimes, they all underscore the preciousness of each fleeting moment. This awareness doesn't breed despair, but rather a profound appreciation for the present. It's a call to savor the laughter, to cherish the quiet companionship, and to actively pursue the things that truly ignite our passion. Moreover, these stories highlight the tenacious grip of hope, even in the face of overwhelming loss. The pursuit of understanding, the relentless search for closure, is not merely an act of remembrance, but a testament to the enduring need for connection and meaning. It's in this persistent striving, this refusal to let absence define their reality, that individuals discover an inner fortitude they never knew they possessed. This journey transforms grief into a wellspring of inner strength, allowing them to forge ahead, not as victims of fate, but as architects of their own continued existence. They've taught me to look beyond the surface, to recognize that every seemingly ordinary interaction might hold a hidden narrative, a silent struggle, or a secret joy. This perspective fosters empathy, encouraging a more compassionate engagement with the world. It's a constant invitation to question our own assumptions, to consider the unseen battles others might be fighting, and to extend a hand of understanding rather than judgment. Ultimately, these experiences urge us to define what truly matters. They prompt us to reflect on the values we hold dear, the relationships that anchor us, and the purposes that give our lives direction. In a world that often clamors for our attention with fleeting distractions, these stories serve as a gentle, yet firm, reminder to focus on the enduring, the meaningful, and the love that binds us all. They are an ode to the resilience of the human heart and its unyielding quest for meaning in the face of life's unpredictable currents. Imagine this: one moment, the familiar hum of the world around you; the next, a jarring silence. The air grows heavy, thick with an unknown dread. My breath catches, a shallow gasp in my lungs. Panic, a cold serpent, begins to coil in my gut, tightening its grip. The instinct is primal, overwhelming, to flee, to fight, to simply understand. My mind races, trying to piece together the fragments of what just happened, searching for a logical explanation that stubbornly refuses to appear. A surge of pure adrenaline floods my system, sharpening my senses to an almost unbearable degree. Every rustle, every shadow, becomes a potential threat, a harbinger of danger. The world, once so predictable, has dissolved into a canvas of uncertainty. The first few minutes are a blur of disoriented thought. Where am I? How did I get here? Questions without answers echo in the cavernous space of my confusion. But then, a deeper instinct kicks in, the one that whispers of survival. I have to move. I have to assess. My eyes dart, scanning the unfamiliar surroundings for any sign of escape or explanation. The pounding in my chest is a frantic drumbeat, urging me forward, pushing back the paralyzing fear. It's a battle not just against an external threat, but against the internal chaos threatening to consume me. I remind myself of the lessons learned, the small acts of bravery I've witnessed or performed. They are small embers in the darkness, fueling a flicker of resolve. Each decision becomes magnified, fraught with potential consequences. Do I go left or right? Do I stay hidden or try to find help? Every choice feels like a gamble, a roll of the dice in a game where the stakes are everything. My mind, usually occupied with the mundane, is now a sharp, analytical tool, desperately seeking patterns, evaluating risks. I force myself to breathe, to find a semblance of calm amidst the storm. It's about reclaiming control, even if it's just the control over my own thoughts and reactions. The fear is still there, a constant companion, but it's no longer the master. It becomes a sharpener, a motivator, pushing me to think faster, act bolder. There's a strange clarity that emerges from the intense pressure. The trivial concerns of everyday life fade into insignificance. What truly matters is the present moment, the immediate need to navigate this bewildering reality. I discover reserves of strength I never knew I possessed. The will to live, the primal drive to overcome adversity, asserts itself with an undeniable force. It's a testament to the hidden potential within us, waiting for the crucible of necessity to reveal its true form. The experience is terrifying, but also, in a profound and unexpected way, empowering. It's a stark reminder that the human spirit is far more resilient and resourceful than we often give it credit for. This is where the true unraveling begins, where the comforting blanket of predictable cause and effect starts to fray. You've navigated the initial shock, the raw instinct for survival, but now the questions multiply, each one a sharp, glittering shard of uncertainty. Is there a grand design, a hidden architect orchestrating the chaos, or are we merely adrift in a universe governed by forces too vast and impersonal for our minds to grasp? It's a descent into the rabbit hole, a place where established truths crumble and the whispers of the extraordinary become deafening. We're about to peek behind the curtain, to examine the theories that dance on the edges of sanity, the narratives that refuse to be neatly categorized by textbooks and scientific journals. Prepare to encounter the bizarre, the outlandish, the stories that make the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. We'll delve into whispers of ancient civilizations possessing knowledge far beyond their supposed era, their ruins hinting at technologies we can only dream of. Then, there are the unexplained phenomena, the lights in the sky that defy aerial classification, the disappearances that leave no trace, the collective unconscious that seems to hum with shared, inexplicable experiences. These aren't just campfire tales, they are threads woven into the fabric of human history, recurring motifs that refuse to be silenced by rational dismissal. We'll explore the shadowy corners where official narratives are questioned, where the what-if scenarios become increasingly compelling. Imagine secret societies manipulating events from behind the scenes, not for power in the conventional sense, but for purposes far stranger, perhaps tied to the very nature of reality itself. Consider the possibilities of parallel dimensions bleeding into our own, creating ripples of strangeness that we perceive as glitches in the matrix. These are the realms where logic takes a back seat, and intuition becomes a guide through a labyrinth of the unknown. The stories often come in fragments, encrypted clues and enduring mysteries. Think of the intricate patterns that appear in nature, too perfect to be accidental, suggesting an underlying mathematical order that hints at something more profound. Consider the accounts of individuals who claim to have encountered entities beyond human comprehension, beings that seem to operate by different rules of existence. These are the moments when the world feels thin, when the veil between the mundane and the miraculous seems to lift, offering fleeting glimpses of a reality far richer and more complex than we typically acknowledge. It's a journey that demands an open mind, a willingness to suspend disbelief and to entertain possibilities that might, at first glance, seem utterly preposterous. Yet, within these seemingly outlandish narratives, there might lie kernels of truth, distorted by time and interpretation, but pointing towards a deeper understanding of our place in the cosmos. The challenge isn't to accept every outlandish claim at face value, but to consider the possibility that our current understanding of the universe is, in fact, incomplete, and that the greatest discoveries might lie just beyond our current horizon of comprehension. Ultimately, it's the journey that matters. It's the pursuit of truth, the thirst for knowledge, the drive to unravel the mystery. I will show you how alive I feel when I'm investigating a case, when I'm following a lead, when I'm getting closer to the answer. And I hope you feel that same thrill, that same passion. Because life is an adventure, and we need to live it to the fullest. The hum of the engine, a steady thrum against the quiet of the pre-dawn hours, became my soundtrack. Each turn of the wheel, a deliberate movement, not just towards a destination, but deeper into the enigma I was chasing. The dew-kissed asphalt reflected the nascent glow of the sky, mirroring the way each piece of evidence, no matter how small, began to coalesce, forming a clearer picture. It wasn't about the destination, but about the unfolding tapestry of clues, the way disparate threads, when woven together with care, revealed a coherent pattern. There's a unique satisfaction in piecing together fragments of information, like finding a missing gear that makes an entire complex mechanism spring to life. It's the moment when intuition and logic collide, not in conflict, but in a harmonious dance. That spark of recognition, the sudden understanding that connects seemingly unrelated events, is exhilarating. It's like unlocking a hidden compartment, revealing a secret held within the ordinary. This pursuit demands a certain mindset, a willingness to look beyond the obvious, to question the established narrative. It's about seeing the world not just as it appears, but as it truly is, or at least, as close to that truth as one can possibly get. The world is a vast library, filled with stories waiting to be discovered, waiting for someone with the tenacity to turn the pages and decipher the hidden meanings. The thrill isn't solely in the discovery itself, but in the process of getting there. It's in the moments of doubt that are overcome by persistence, in the dead ends that, upon reflection, offer a new perspective. Each challenge is an opportunity to hone one's skills, to refine one's approach, making the eventual breakthrough all the more rewarding. It's a testament to the power of curiosity and the enduring human spirit of exploration. Having journeyed through so much, learned so profoundly, what remains? What endures from this shared expedition? It is the unshakable conviction that our reality is an inherently peculiar, enigmatic tapestry, woven with countless hidden threads. And through it all, my deepest gratitude goes to you for accompanying me on this unfolding narrative. I genuinely hope this experience has been transformative for you, that it has reshaped your perception of the world, allowing you to see it through a newly illuminated lens. More than anything, I hope it has ignited within you a fervent desire to pursue truth, to challenge every assumption, and to never, ever relinquish your quest. Life, after all, is a continuous exploration, a ceaseless striving. We are compelled to remain in perpetual motion, adapting and evolving. This journey has reinforced that understanding. The intricate mechanisms and the stories they hold have revealed the beauty in complexity, and the elegance in precision engineering. We've witnessed how disparate parts can coalesce into a harmonious, functional whole, a testament to meticulous design and unwavering dedication. The echoes of innovation and the spirit of relentless improvement are what resonate most strongly. Remember those moments of perplexity, the seeming dead ends that initially felt like insurmountable obstacles? Those instances, upon deeper contemplation, proved to be fertile ground for new insights. Each challenge, each setback, was not an end but a redirection, an opportunity to refine our methods, to sharpen our faculties, and to deepen our understanding. It's in navigating these complexities that the true mastery emerges, making the eventual revelation that much sweeter, more profound. The spark of curiosity, that innate human drive to understand, has been our constant fuel. It's the engine that propels us forward, even when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. The enduring spirit of exploration, the quiet determination to unravel the unknown, is what truly defines this endeavor. It is a spirit that transcends mere discovery and delves into the very essence of progress. Embrace this, carry it with you. Stay vigilant, stay curious, and until our paths cross again, fair winds.